3 tips for SBL in under 3 minutes. SBL is a very different, very fresh paper, different from the normal finance and accounting kind of exams. It's almost like a mini MBA, and it's most people's favorite exam. And that's the reason, because it's so different, that the tips are also going to be quite different from the regular exam tips. So tip number 1, 9 instead of 3. What I mean by that is that in most papers, the generic advice is give a minimum of 3 marks. But in SBL, that won't work. You've got to aim at almost giving 9 marks, which is 3 times, because that's the real key to passing SBL. Now, in all exams, the marks are the most vital part, but in SBL, they're even more than usual, because in other papers, the exam kit still has questions of, let's say, 10 or 20 or 25 marks, which are really going to come in that format in the exam. But in SBL, the exam kit, which has 10 or 20 marks questions, will not appear in the exam. The exam is a single case study of 100 marks. So when you're practicing the exam kit, you anyways don't get the real practice that you have, that you need for the exam. Practice 9 or more marks. Okay. Tip number 2. Assume that you're writing to some higher senior authority in your current life. And what I mean by that is, SBL has 20 professional marks in the exam. Out of 120 marks of professionalism. Professionalism will basically, ACCA wants to inculcate into us the habit of how a language, how a tonality, how the vocabulary should be when we write to certain formal associates. So if you have to write in the exam to a CEO, but you've never worked in a company before, you might not know how it sounds. You might not know how to actually write. You don't know how it's different from your normal WhatsApp chats and stuff like that. So what do you do when you practice? If the question says that you're writing a report to the board of directors or to the CEO, you empathize with somebody in your life who currently is a senior authority. So if you're in college, assume you've got to write some form of an email or some form of a letter to the principal. When you think of it like that, your entire the intention with which you write, the language which you write, the professionalism automatically starts tilting towards what you need in the SBL exam, because you're not writing it the way you write to 95% of the people in your life. So if you treat it as though you're writing to somebody higher in your life, higher meaning senior authority, the language will come across in the right way. And so before I come to the third tip, here's a bonus tip. Current affairs. SBL covers a lot of current affairs. In other papers, we suggested you read the technical articles. Technical articles anyways give you a gist of what's going to come in the exam, but in SBL, it's the current affairs. Another link to that is, guys, that we really make a lot of case studies which are to do with the latest events in the world. So please do follow that as well, because that's going to help you all with your SBL exams. And finally, tip number 3, follow the models. So whether it is in SBL, whether it's PESTEL, whether it's Potter's 5 forces, whether it's SWOT analysis, all these models you can use. And the reason you use the models is that it helps you structure your answer. It improves your answer dramatically. It helps you cover all aspects to the answer, and you don't lose anything as such if you don't use the models. But the people who use the models score way better, almost 75% better than the people who don't. So those were the 3 tips for SBL. If any of them are helpful, please do let us know. If we've missed anything, once again, please put it in the comments. We'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you. Guys, wait. Before you leave, I'm going to leave you all with the same old. Do you know what the difference between you and a successful version of you is? The successful version of you would not miss out on subscribing to this channel today.